Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another match reaction. You can see by my face, we have just gone and picked up another point. I say another. Well, yeah, you can say another because we've picked up 1 point earlier in the season against Everton, and now we've picked another one up. And we are officially off the bottom of the league, which is great to see. No games extra to be played by Burnley. We are legitimately off the bottom of the league, which is, yeah, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I can't remember the last time we weren't bottom of the league. I know early on in the season, everyone were rubbish. But yeah, we stabilized ourselves as bottom of the league and we've stayed there ever since. And we are unbeaten in November. That's another positive. And we are also, it's the first time we have been unbeaten in 2 games since April, since the 29th of April. And that was when we won promotion to the Premier League. So, yes, we've got a point against Brighton. It is a really, really good point on paper, or before the teams came in. I would say 1-1, snatch your hands off. Absolutely. Snatch your hands off at 70 minutes. But yeah, it all changed after that, didn't it? But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. The teams came in, and do you know what I was thinking? Let's go for this. Let's completely just go for it. Throw everything at them and see if we can get a win out of this game, because they certainly put out a weakened side. They really did. It wasn't a great side on paper for Brighton. Mitoma on the bench, no Ferguson. Even on the bench, there were a few other players on the bench that that possibly should have been starting. But yeah, it wasn't a great one. Obviously, they beat Ajax in midweek. Wasn't too long ago as well. I think it was Thursday when they beat Ajax. So yeah, they'll have been riding that kind of high of beating Ajax. And sometimes in these games, when you've just gone and done something really, really special, like what they did in Europe, beating Ajax. I'm not saying Ajax are bad, by the way. Ajax are really, really bad this season. But no, it's still a really, really good win going to Amsterdam and beating Ajax, one of Europeans' giants. However well they're doing, it's Brighton at the end of the day. Like, Brighton have had a fantastic run to where they are now, and they're a great team. And like I say, it was a great point. It's good to get a point on the board. I just felt like we could have nicked it. I felt like we could have nicked it. And maybe that's just me being a bit over the top, and maybe me thinking we need as many points as we can to stay up. But this was certainly a point that's going to send us in the right direction. Because, like I say, I know it's only 2 games, but that's 0 defeats in 2 games. And it's 2 games that, one today we probably didn't expect anything from. The Wolves game, we hoped for a win and got it. So that's 2 hopes, and we've got them both. So that hopefully a win against Wolves, and hopefully something we could cheer about in this game. But it didn't all go our way. I think we all know that. Everybody who watched this game knew that it didn't all go our way. And maybe we were a little bit lucky to even get a point out of this game, because if we looked at the stats at half time, we will get to talking about some football, but the stats at half time, we had 2 shots, 0 on target, and 28% possession. We could not get the ball off them in the first half. However, in the second minute, Gus Harmer misses a header from a really, really poorly misplaced pass from one of their defenders. I think it was Van Heck. I think it was Van Heck that kind of tries to play the ball across his own back line in the air. It lands perfectly on the head of Gus Harmer. Maybe if that lands to someone a little bit taller, they've got a slightly easier header. But it's kind of like coming at him quick. He has to make a really, really snap judgment of what he's got to do here, what he's going to do. And he kind of just catches it off the corner of his head and it goes wide. The keeper's out of his goal. The keeper's not stopping this if Gus Harmer gets this on target. Really early on in the game, it's one of those where, yeah, open net. It was one of those where you just think, is that going to be our best chance of the game? I always say this because we always seem to get one really, really good chance really early on in an away game. And I always think, please let that not be our best chance of the whole game. Luckily enough, it wasn't. But yeah, we'll get there. But 3 minutes later, Brighton take the lead. It was Adingra. It was Adingra. And he picks the ball on that left hand side. He weaves away from Bogle pretty easily. I thought Bogle had a torrid time today against him. And I think most of the things what Bogle did today, other than one thing, wasn't great. Maybe a couple of little kind of nice bits of play, but a lot of what Bogle did today was not very good, in my opinion. Obviously, it's up for debate. This is why we do these videos. So let us know in the comments what you thought of Bogle's performance. But it wasn't my favorite Jaden Bogle performance of all time. But yeah, he obviously redeemed himself in the second half. But Adingra runs away from Bogle, and then Sousa has a chance to either try and put in a tackle and win the ball, try and bring him down just to stop him. He doesn't do either. And to be honest, at that time, I was thinking, yeah, let him run through. It's one of them things that afterwards you're thinking he should have just took him down. But in the heat of the moment, I'm thinking we've got so many players back that he doesn't need to do a cynical foul and bring him down here. And he doesn't. He probably thinks something similar. But then you think at that point, it's like he needed to just bring him down. Bogle, Sousa, just bring him down outside the box, not inside the box, because as soon as he goes past Sousa, he lays the ball into the box, and that's where it's dangerous. And I think it was Jack Robinson didn't get the tackle in, and it goes through. It's a great finish off the post. Was it a Dingra? I can't remember if it was a Dingra coming off or if he was the one that finished it anyway. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't normally throw opposition names in there just because I don't like getting things wrong. But yeah, it may not have been. It may not have been. But yeah, Brighton were fantastic. They just passed the ball around us at will. We couldn't get anywhere near them. We tried to press them. We tried to press them. We tried to press them. We could not get anywhere near that ball. A couple of little bits and bobs where we got the ball and tried to break, tried to put a little bit of a break together, a bit of I don't know. The thing is, what the reason why I'm stumbling on my words here is because I am struggling to see, like with Chris Wilder, you knew how we played football. We knew it was like Jack O'Connell overlapping, Chris Basham overlapping. You knew the passages of play, how we played football. Last season, we had a very, very good team in an average championship. We had a generational talent who pulled all the strings, scored lots of goals, got lots of assists. So we kind of let him do what he wanted to do. And then we had some fantastic players around him as well that could also pitch in and create really good chances. We're not creating any openings at all, especially not in the first half, especially not for the first 70 minutes, to be honest. And I've written down here in the 12th minute, we just couldn't get the ball off Brighton. We were nowhere near them. We just couldn't get it off them. They were just passing it around us so easily. They didn't create masses of chances. I think they had another one. I'm not going to go through all the chances that Brighton had because they had quite a few. Let's have a little look at the stats. 11 goal attempts, 6 on target. Do you know what? That is not as bad as what I actually thought it was. Wes made some fantastic saves in this game as well. You've got to give Wes a lot of credit. A lot of times he came out, caught the ball, punched the ball. Wes had a really, really good game today. And yeah, I don't know who's won man of the match, but I certainly think Wes should have taken it because I thought it was really, really good. Saved another one in the first half. I've got here 30 minutes. The reason why I've picked out this point is because it was really, really poor defending. On the 30th minute, the Brighton and Hove Albion player, we'll call him, chests it high up in the air. And we've got like 3 men around. Jack Robinson kind of miskicks it and it lands straight back to him. He puts it into the side netting. But it's little bits like that that really, really frustrated me. But it's certainly not the defence that is the biggest problem in this team, to be honest, because we certainly in that first half just had nothing to show going forward at all. And that comes from the midfield. You can't expect Cameron Archer to just create something from nothing when he's probably got 3 men to kind of go up against, 3 centre-backs, 1 striker we've got. And he struggles. He struggles at times. He struggled a lot this season, especially when McBurney's not playing. So we need to offer a little bit more to Cameron Archer because he's going to end up going off the boil um, because he's not getting enough chances and he's not getting enough support up front. He did something incredible in the second half that almost forced. Well, it did force a chance. It almost forced a goal. But I've got 34th minute, Harmer over the ball, and this is another thing. When you've got a ball in a really, really good position, a free kick in a really good position. I think it was McAtee when he headed it past Webster and he took him out. We got a ball in a great position. We know Harmer can take a fantastic whipped in free kick. And we let Luke Thomas take it with his left foot swinging out, and it didn't even beat the first man. Like, Gus Harmer needs to be taking every single free kick for me. Like, I think Ollie Norwood's been fantastic in the past, but his free kicks haven't been good for probably 3 seasons now. Maybe an odd one, but certainly nowhere near the heights of when we got promoted the first time under Wilder. And then the first season in the Premier League, you were really good. After that, they've not been great. So Harmon needs to be taking every single dead ball around the box. But saying that, when the ball does go into the box, our big men do not get anywhere near the ball. So it was a really, really frustrating first half. Stay with me because we will get to the good stuff. I've got to be honest, we were terrible in that first half. We were nowhere near the level that we should have been, especially with the team that we were playing, because Brighton, that is probably not their third side, in all honesty. They had, let me have a little look on the bench. They had Veltman on the bench, he would be starting. Matoma on the bench, he would be starting. I thought João Pedro would have been starting today. There's other players. There's loads of players missing as well. They've got almost as many injuries as those Lewis Dunk, Estupinian, Lamptey, Sully March, Milner, Welbeck. There's also Ferguson. Ferguson should have been starting up front from today. They had a lot of injuries. We've got a lot of injuries. Don't get me wrong. But we should have seen this as a game that we possibly could have gone at them today. Possibly glad we didn't, because we may have got took apart because they've still got some really, really good players. But at the same time, when you've got 28% possession and 0 shots on target, the only 2 shots, one coming from one of their mistakes. I can't remember the second one, but it can't have been anything of note because I've not even written it down, and that's what I normally do. It's I don't necessarily write all the opponents' shots down, but I write Sheffield United's, and there's just nothing in there really. So we go into the second half in the 56th minute. That's the first time I've marked down that I think that we actually were close to creating possibly a goal or a really, really clear-cut chance. And it's George Baldock gets the ball in a lovely little position on the right-hand side in the box, and he just lays a lovely, lovely ball, like a sort of pass shot, a pass cross across the box for Archer to get on the end of. And that's sometimes a little bit of criticism that I've got for Cameron Archer. Just the fact that the balls are sometimes in that area, but he just doesn't expect or he doesn't anticipate the balls into the box sometimes. And I've seen a few this season that have gone across the face of the goal and he's just not been there. And that happens to the best of them sometimes. Not necessarily Billy Sharp because he's always there, but like Ollie McBurney, when Ollie McBurney wasn't on form, he wasn't occupying those spaces. He wasn't running into the 6-yard box expecting a cross. But when he was on form, he was doing that. So it's not necessarily that Cameron Archer's not very good at doing that. It might just be that he's not expecting these balls and needs to start expecting them. Because if he is expecting him, then that means that he's going to get some goals, because there's been a few this season, like I said, especially in the last 3 or 4 games where he could have got on the end of and hadn't. And that was one today. It was a lovely ball in from George, but he just didn't read it at all, Archer. In the 65th minute, this is the one I wanted to talk about. Cameron Archer on the left-hand side picks the ball up and just as their defender on toast, he gets round him, pushes the ball round him, runs round him, manages to find McAtee. McAtee can't quite get anything away. The goalkeeper comes out. I think the defender clears it away. We recycle it. And then this is one of my most frustrating Bogle moments today, because he gets the ball. Harmer is making an absolutely fantastic overlap on the right hand side, and he puts way too much on the pass. Like, I'd rather you under hit that pass than over hit that pass, because under hitting it, yeah, he might have to reposition his body and try and put the ball in, maybe with his left and maybe with his instep of his right. But don't overhit that ball. Whatever you do, don't overhit that ball. And he did. And that was really, really frustrating to see. You could see that Gus Harmer was really, really frustrated with that pass from Bogle. And then it all changes. The 68th minute, Dahoud gets sent off for a ridiculous challenge. Like, I don't know what he was doing. I really don't, because Ben Osborne wins the ball. It's not even from him, so he's not annoyed that Ben Osborne's put this challenge in, because it was a good challenge, but it was a hard challenge. I think it was on Gilmore. And then he just comes across and just stood straight down the back of his leg, and it was just not needed in the slightest. I don't know if it's got anything to do with anything that happened previous to this, or whether he's just kind of made a mistake. I don't know whether it didn't look like he was wanting to hurt wanting to hurt Osborne. So I don't know why he did it. Really, really no idea. And he's caused them to not win this game today, because we were all over him after that. And this is what frustrates me a little bit about the Blades right now, and maybe Hecky's game management. It's just the fact that we went for it after this. We went for it. They were all over the place, all at sea. Yes, we were up against 10 men, but I want to see more of that when we're up against 11 men. And I know Hecky would probably come out and say, we'll get done on the break. We could get done on the break anyway with 10 men. Like, Matoma did that after the red card, and nearly forced something for them. So I don't know. I just want to see us attack more, give us something to shout about. And I know you've got to be tight sometimes, but we can't wait for something like a red card or a penalty to happen just to get us back into the game, which has happened in the last couple of games. I thought we were really good in the second half against Wolves. I think we were shocking in the first. But and that pressure and that pressure and that pressure told in the end. We got the goal from Archer, which was a fantastic goal, and like, it had a 0.03 xg. That shows how good the goal was, and that we didn't necessarily create the chance. It was a bit of luck, and he's just hit a fantastic shot. And then the second goal was a penalty that everybody's been talking about. I'm sick of people talking about that penalty, to be honest, against Wolves. But it happened. Move on, guys. We got it. But the fact that we've been bad for 70 minutes tonight, or 65 minutes, whatever you want to call it, and then we have gone and got something out of the game is great. But at the same time, I don't want to have to wait for a red card every single week to see us go and attack a team, because they clearly should have scored more than one goal in the first 65 minutes. So maybe we should see that as like they're looking like they're struggling here. They're not getting that second goal that they need. Let's put a bit of pressure on them, and they might wilt a little bit towards the end of the game. There's a lot of players on that pitch that haven't played too many minutes this season, so I just felt like we should have gone for it a little bit more earlier on. But we certainly went for it when the red card happened, and we got the goal. But just before that, oh god! Oh no, sorry, it was the goal. It was the goal. It was the Bogle scuffing the one-on-one after that. So the 73rd minute. This is when the goal happens. This is down to Austin Trusty. He manages to get the ball back. He gets the ball across to Harmer, who's a better footballer. That's what defenders do and midfielders do. Get the ball to somebody who is better on the ball. Harmer gets the ball, lays it across to Bogle in such a fantastic position. I'm surprised he's not shot here, and I am 99.9% sure this was not a shot, because as soon as he hits it, he's angled towards the box. And he's also, as soon as he hits it, he's looking across the box. He's not looking at the goal to see if he's scored. So I think this is a fantastic cross from Bogle. One of those that you just hammer in the box and hope that either Archer gets on the end of it or somebody puts it in their own net. And don't get me wrong, like, I'd rather see Sheffield United score a goal than it be an own goal. But the goals that teams have scored this season that have been on goals, other than the Pickford one off his head, but we've still forced that. It was still a fantastic shot from Archer. we forced these own goals. They've not been bad play by the other team. We forced these own goals. And yeah, it's great to see Bogle force another own goal for us today. Um, but then in the 77th minute, this is the chance to win the game. And I think we go on to win this game if Bogle puts this in the back of the net. It's great play from McAtee into Archer, a lovely back heel to Jaden Bogle, and he scuffs it so badly past the post. So Jaden Bogle's gone from hero to zero in just a few minutes. But the Blades came away with a 1-1 draw, a point on the board. It takes us off the bottom of the league. Obviously, Burnley as well, losing to Arsenal 3-1 yesterday. That brought them onto the completely same goal difference as us. Same goals scored, same goals against. So it's just helping us. That point will help us so much this season, more than we'll ever know. It's 1 point. But at the same time, where are we now in the league? I know we're second bottom, but how far are we away? So Luton are a point in front of us. Unfortunately, Bournemouth picked up that win against Newcastle at home, against a depleted Newcastle side. So that may have not happened if Newcastle would have had a full side. So this is the thing. When teams that are better than you on paper have got a depleted side, you need to go for it. You just need to go hell for leather, just like Bournemouth did. So at the moment, we are unfortunately 4 points off. But at the same time, we were more than that before. So win and a draw within 2 games really, really helps um, our survival bid. So yeah, it's still not great. We're still in a lot of danger, but at the same time, we go into an international break. Is the international break now? I believe it's the next one, isn't it? There's no more game until yeah, it's international break next. So we've got Bournemouth. I've actually got the fixtures up here. So we've got Bournemouth on the 25th, and then we've got Burnley on the 2nd of December. So that's 2 fantastic games to come up. Like we are at the end of the day, they're the teams that we need to be beating. They're the teams that we need to be picking points up against. And if we can go in against Bournemouth and Burnley and come away with 0 defeats out of those 2 games, 4 games, unbeaten in 4, shall we say, that is what you want to see. And yes, we want to see wins, but at the same time, teams around us, we just can't let them beat us. So if we can beat Bournemouth and a draw against Burnley, we'll probably be out of the relegation zone, and that'll be fantastic. And to be honest, I think that I was probably thinking that we needed a change in manager. I probably still think we do need a change in manager, just something a little bit different, because if it wasn't for that red card today, we would not have got a point out of that game, in my opinion. So I think we still possibly do need a change in leadership. But at the same time, if we're going to keep picking up points, if we go and beat Bournemouth, if we go and get something out of Burnley, who knows? We could completely change this season around for the better, because it couldn't really have gone worse, could it? Like that win came when we absolutely needed it against Wolves, and yeah, we backed it up again today with another draw. I'll quickly go through some of the players and how I thought they played today, because I'm not going to run through them all. I thought Vinny Su's had a bit of a mixed game today. I wasn't massively impressed with him today, but he he did okay. I thought we did better when he came off, to be fair. I thought Osborne had a really good game when he came on in the midfield. Got stuck in, got the ball moving quick, and that's what we needed. And sometimes Vinny gets caught on the ball. He's kind of, when he's picking the ball up off a defender, he's a bit he languishes a little bit, and he's like, you want him to move the ball quickly as possible. And Norwood sometimes gets kind of pulled out as like somebody who doesn't move the ball quick enough, but Finney Souza moves it even slower. I thought McAtee had a decent game today. No problem with that. Harmer, I thought he had an okay game. Archer, again, thought he had an okay game. There's no one that really stood out for me today. Bogle's got a 7.1 rating on Flash Score. Third best player for us, apparently. Not sure how that happened other than the assist. I thought he was quite poor defensively. and his passing as well at times was really poor. I thought Trusty had a half decent game. Robinson was probably one of the weaker defenders. Baldock, he's playing out of position, and he's putting it in. I think Baldock's fantastic. Wes probably deserves man of the match. Norwood's got it. Don't think Norwood was fantastic today, but Norwood's got man of the match here. So that's how it's looking. I thought Wes 100% deserved it. I think the only reason why Wes didn't get it was because we got that goal and then eyes are kind of averted to the players that are doing better outfield. But I think Wes made some really, really good saves today and probably deserved man of the match. Good evening, Tom. How are we doing? Bournemouth is going to be a classic, Christopher. Absolutely with you there, mate. Nancy, yay, agreed. We're not bottom anymore. We're not bottom anymore. Is that the song? Is that the song that we're going with? Osborne made much more of a difference than Vinay. Absolutely, Tom. Agreed with you. Getting Blades, Hecky, I trust. Fair enough. Woo woo. I would have taken a point before the game. I'll take a point after the game. 4 points from the next two, and I'll be happy. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. A very good point. If Sheffield United draw many matches away, it will help us. It will. It will. I think that it's obviously we're going to lose 90 to 95% of away games this season. But yeah, if we can pick up these odd points here and there, it's great to see. Also, Brighton still haven't beaten Sheffield United in the Premier League. That is a crazy stat. A really, really crazy stat. Because we've played them now 5 times in the Premier League, and we haven't lost once. Agreed, Bogle was pretty poor. I think we'll paper over the cracks with Bogle a little bit with his assist. I think that's what will happen. And actually, I hope it does, because I don't want Bogle to lose any sort of confidence. He had a poor game today, but hopefully that assist gives him a bit of a lift. Thought Wes kept us in it, but a point. Don't know what that means, Mark, but thank you very much for your comment. Great weekend. Up the Blades. F the Owls. Okay. I didn't want to say that, but I've said it anyway. Going into the last 10 with them down to 10, why didn't go for broke? Bring on Benny and Asula for Bogle and a tiring Maka. Maybe. It's one of those. I understand why Hecky didn't 100% go for it, because they've got some very, very quick, skillful attackers going forward. Mitoma, first and foremost, you've got to say that he's probably one of the best wingers in the Premier League at the moment. So, yeah, we could have easily got done on the break, even with them having 10 men. So I could see why Hecky didn't want to go for broke, because imagine the dressing room having them had 10 men, us coming back into the game and then conceding another goal, another late goal as well. That's another positive of today. We haven't conceded a late goal. It's great to see. What a great point for the lads today. First half was poor, but even before the sending off, I thought we were more up for it. 4 points out of 6. Great summer signing, that OG leading the goal scorer. Fantastic, Stephen. It really is. It's great to see. Happy this Sunday evening. Hello, Nick. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have everybody here. Almost 200 people. Hey, Nick, how did Millwall go on Saturday? I think Millwall did quite well on Saturday, to be honest. Can't remember exactly what the score was 4-0. But I can't remember who they played Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, so I can't remember. Can't remember, mate. I don't know what they did, but I think they did okay. Shout out to Ollie. Saw him at the game. Such a friendly guy. Nice chat at halftime. Ollie's one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. Lovely, lovely guy. And yeah, he's so good at talking about the Blades. Poor playing, gave away too many balls, not physical enough. Hecky, keep Hecky and change McCall with an experience number 2. Wow. No one's ever said that, Tazzy. No one's ever said that. That's wild. Hopefully some players will be available after the break. That's another one. I think the reason why they didn't go for McBurney today, I don't know myself whether McBurney was fit enough to play in this game. Obviously, he wasn't even on the bench. So I assume not. But I think one of the main reasons why, even if he was close to being fit, why they wouldn't, because you don't want to rush McBurney back just to have a kind of break. And because the thing is, if he picks up an injury and then he's injured all the way through the international break and then a bit more, it's like you should have just left him. Let him have a rest. Bob's your uncle, because he was there on his sofa tweeting, saying well done to the lads, old Ollie McBurney. So I'm sure he'll be back. I think he'll be starting when we're back from the international break, which will be a big, big lift to everybody. Same with an L. I think an L will probably be back as well. Anyone remember beating Brighton 5-4 at the Lane? Ian Bryson last minute, just before my time, but I'm sure we've got some people in the stream that remember that, mate. Have you got a message for Kurt Smith for tomorrow? Why? Why for Kurt Smith? I love Kurt Smith. Are you playing against him or something? Kurt Smith. Why? Let me know, John. Let me know. I love Kurt. I remember we were 3-0 up at half time. They made it 4-3 and we made it 5-4. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. Come on, lads. Brilliant from David Fletcher. 4 points from the next 2 games after the international break. That's what we're saying. Good point on the road. Did anyone get injured today? I don't think so. I think McAtee went down because he had a bit of cramp. Sousa came off. It looked like he was a bit jaded, but hopefully that's not something that's going to see him out or anything like that. Like I say, it's probably just precautionary because we've got this little break now. So it's like, let's make sure he doesn't get more injured playing in this game, because we probably thought when Sousa came off that we weren't going to get anything from this game because we are playing Brighton at the end of the day. Work on his building site. Okay. I do love Kurt, so yeah, don't give him any steak. He's a top man. Lions rah. And final comment of the video: John Francis last minute, not Bryson. Okay, that's nothing about the game. So I'm going to give people a few more minutes just to get their comments in before I close this video out. It's just good to get points on the board, isn't it? That's the main thing of this day today, because none of us expected to beat Brighton. Maybe we thought we'd had a bit more of a chance once we saw the team sheet, because I didn't know Evan Ferguson was out. He's in my fantasy football team. Matoma's in my fantasy football team as well. So seeing them out was great. But at the same time, when I saw Matoma come on at half time, I was like, I don't want anything from you here, mate. But if you do score, there's the tiniest little silver lining. But only if we were out of sight, they were out of sight. 2 or 3, 4-0. Yeah, Matoma, you can score now. But no, Matoma, I'm glad he didn't get anything from the game today. I don't care that much about my fantasy team. It was just that I expected those two to play. And I'm so glad they didn't, because I think if they did, I think if Matoma started, I think if Evan Ferguson played, I think that we may not have come away with a point. But we did. That's what you love to see. Quickly go through the last few before. Maka was precautionary. I think you're right. Hi, Nick. Everyone keeps going on about stats, but it's no good if you're not doing anything with it. Agreed. But at the end of the day, I'd rather stats go for us than against us. And a lot of going against us at the moment. I think we might get a point. Yep. Yep. Big shout out to Ainsley from S24SU. Absolutely. Totally agreed. I'd never met Matt, but totally agreed. I'm completely with you there. Great point today against Bournemouth. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. If we can I want to win against Bournemouth. I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to be a tough game. There's not going to be one easy game this season. Burnley is going to be hard away from home. Bournemouth are going to bring it. They will bring it to Bramall Lane. So let's see what we can do. Blades, that's 2 games in a row without a defeat, which feels weird to say, but it's great to see. Thanks for all for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought to this game. If you're watching this after the live, please make sure you like the video before you go as well. We've still got 170 odd people in here, even though people know I'm leaving. So I really appreciate that. Make sure you like the video before you go. Yes, we're just off the bottom of the league, aren't we? You love to see it.